One thing you love most in life is thrills. You like to spend nights in scary places like an old haunted castle, abandoned hospitals, and catacombs, and record it on camera. You prove there's nothing extraordinary about such places, and all the thrill is in your head. But sometimes, you manage to catch mysterious events that remain in your memory for the rest of your life. It once happened when you were into an ordinary room where a window hadn't been opened for years. One of your fans wrote to you that he's doing an experiment. He hadn't aired his room for ages to find out what would happen. You arrive there and see an ordinary residential house. The first thing you notice is a strange window on the second floor. The glass is covered with a thick layer of black-yellow soot, so you can't see what's behind it. This must be the room. You're going up the stairs, the floor is creaking. The house seems fragile. The sharp smell of mildew hits you in the nose. You see a closed back door. Before opening it and going inside, the host gives you a gas mask. It has to protect you not only from the smell, but also from poisoning. You turn on the camera, push the door handle, and you take one step and don't believe your eyes. You want to turn off the camera and get out of there as soon as possible. You realize that this is the scariest place you've ever been. But let's rewind to 20 years ago and put you in the place of the room owner to see what exactly happened here. You decide you'll never open the windows in the room again. For the first few days, you don't feel much different. It's hot and stuffy, but you can survive. Almost every day you change the bed and wipe the dust off. But after a month, sleeping in this room becomes a little uncomfortable. Fresh air is a resource that your body needs to function properly. Your cells are saturated with oxygen. Your skin becomes clearer, and your immune system improves. You take a deep breath and enrich your body with oxygen. You exhale and release carbon dioxide into the air. The amount of oxygen decreases every day. It becomes harder for you to breathe every night. You cough a lot. Your body needs fresh air, and without it you can't sleep well. You have nightmares. You sweat a lot. Your skin gets an unhealthy yellowish blue. The air refreshes your room and dries out the moisture. Moisture promotes the spread of bacteria. Every night your body sweats. All this body liquid evaporates and remains in the room, and nothing prevents the bacteria from increasing their population. The air becomes dirty and heavy. An unpleasant, stale smell appears. Breathing is hard, and you decide to stop sleeping in this room, but still keep the window closed. Any unpleasant smell is small particles that penetrate the nose and cause a reaction of the sense of smell. Now, there are so many of these particles in the air you think you can see them. High humidity and unpleasant odors create an acrid fog. If someone stays in this room to live, they'll have a big health problem soon. You forget an open bottle of water in the room, and this is your big mistake. The water slowly evaporates and fills the dirty air with moisture. You wipe the dust off with a wet rag, and it leaves some extra moisture too. Because of all the humidity, bacteria keep spreading and insects take over the room. It's so warm and humid here that cockroaches and house centipedes consider this place a real paradise. Right under the bed, a colony of small and large beetles form. In such conditions, any organic product begins to rot in a matter of hours. Put a fresh apple on a table and billions of bacteria will immediately attack it. If you bring a plant here and water it every day, it'll still fade and never bloom. So flowers wither quickly, food deteriorates, and human health deteriorates as well. This place is becoming something like a radioactive territory. Just one living organism is beginning to thrive here. It's mold. Over the years, mold has covered the entire room. Cabinets, chairs, table, and bed are rotting more and more day after day. The room turns into a black and green realm of decay. Objects in the room become fragile. A notebook or a pen placed here may disintegrate if you pick it up. Mold needs heat, darkness, moisture, and oxygen to grow. The room conditions aren't similar to a vacuum. Oxygen still gets inside through doorways, doors, and small openings. The window has become so dirty and foggy that the sunlight can't come in. Raindrops seep through the gaps in the window and give the room extra moisture. It gets cooler here, which means the moisture lasts longer. The fungus from the mold infects the entire space like a disease. Now you can't enter without a gas mask. The slightest vibration of the air can provoke the fungus to crack open, and then the mold spores will be in the air. If you take a breath and the mold gets into your airways, you risk getting serious health problems. If you don't stop the mold from spreading, it will take over the house. Slowly, it penetrates other rooms, ceilings, and walls. This can disrupt the structure of the whole building. You may not even notice the mold growing. It can hide inside floors and walls, cover pipes and tiles. The room can no longer be saved, even if you open the window and clean it up. The mold is a part of the house now. The best thing to do is to build something new on the ruins of the old one. And now, let's go back to the beginning. You're that guy who likes creepy places. You open the door and see a dirty, moldy space. It seems that it has an independent ecosystem now, living separately from the rest of the world. You shine a flashlight and see small spores flying in the air. Right in front of your face, a centipede falls from the ceiling and crawls under the bed. You notice a pulsating black wall. In a second, the wall divides into thousands of small bugs and cockroaches. They all run in different directions. The floor is slippery and you're afraid to look under your feet. For decades, the insects have lived here and have known nothing about the outside world. You are their first guest in all this time, so they're surprised to see you here. Even through the gas mask, you can hear the rustling and movement of small creatures. Most of the sounds you hear are coming from under the bed. It seems the nest is there. You bend down a little and reach out with your right hand to lift the hanging sheet and see what's happening there. A creepy, clicking sound comes from there. You jump back immediately. You tell your followers you'd never agree to spend a night here for any money. Furniture, objects on the table, walls, books, everything is of one monotonous shade now. You feel like the room lives on its own, like a separate organism. You can see nothing through the fogged, dirty glass. The bed is thick with fungus, and the floor creaks under your feet. Your intuition tells you to leave this place as soon as possible. You feel the room is so rotten that everything can collapse at any moment. You take a step back. The wooden floor breaks. You fall down. The host helps you up. You rise without making any sudden movements and slowly go back. You can hear the cracking of the wall, not only in the room, but throughout the house. You must leave this place immediately. Together with the host, you run out into the street and watch the house collapsing. Dust and mold spores rise into the air. An unpleasant smell spreads through the street. It's hard for you to believe that this pure destruction happened just because someone didn't open the window in their bedroom.